So another message, right? To sovereign kings and queens, right? You know the oath that you make to the people, right? And you say you serve the people, right? I don't think you should do that because what if all the people became machines, right? And you were like on your own, and everyone had turned into like binary, like ding dongs, and you were like, shit, I got to serve this lot. And what do we do about that then? You know, let's create a fake plane and escape. Well, we can't do that. That's illegal. Oh, what do we do then? I don't know. So I can see the predicament. So I think you should strike the oath of serving the people so that you can get away from the people that went that way into out of even having any option of becoming a sovereign, right? Because they chose to go into a machine, right, and into a fake digital world or fake game or whatever. We don't want that. So I think you should maybe strike that oath and serve the country and serve the prosperity of the country and serve the growth of the country, natural growth of the country. And I think that would save you from serving the people. And I think the king should be on pretty much, or queen should be pretty much on an equal footing with all the lords, and all the lords are all sovereign and true. And I think most of the king's guards look like some of them are sovereign. So a lot of the knights there maybe should be in the House of Lords, not in the war of a soldier, but in the war of the psychology and the war of the way forward, because it's all scripted in the government, right? So I think the king's guards could represent the king's purpose for his oath to serve the country and prosperity naturally, to push the government out of script and out of the machine script, to grow the country in a better way, with the king's guards supporting the lords and turfing out all of these ticket holders that have got no, you can tell they got no sovereignty at all. They just bought a ticket. Well, they can't direct the British people if the king's serving the country and the prosperity of the country. And you all say that the royal family's there for the tourism, the prosperity, and the look and feel of the country and all the rest of it. Well, make it that, and don't serve the people. And the people don't need to serve the king, because they were going to respect whoever the king and queen is and the lords are, because they're going to be good, they're going to be worthy, and they're going to be always wanting to prosper us for the betterment of the country. So our country looks wonderful and prosperous, and is a good country to live in, and that's the way it is. And every country should be like that. And the spiritual side of it, that's really the mentor of the king and the lords, which is at the moment in the Parliament Assembly quarters of it. You've got 4 quarters. Where how it works is you've got the royal family in one quarter. You've got the Archbishop of Canterbury in one quarter. So that's a 45. And you've got the lords in the other quarter, and you've got the government in the other quarter. So it's 4 quarters of the Parliament Assembly. That's the Bill of Rights source code, really. That's what they're working on. But they've twisted it by making the government have overreach over the king and the lords. And I'm like, excuse me, the government having overreach on the king and the lords and allowing people to buy tickets to become a lord and buy a title to become a sir, to get a seat there. Bullshit with that, right? And I think it's about time that sovereigns should stand up and take account of this, because there's something about sovereign light that is pure and good and true, and it shouldn't be disrespected, and it should be listened to, and they're good leaders, and they should be listened to and not judged and opinionated upon and ranked by anyone. You've got no right to do that, to have an opinion on anyone. But we've got a lot of opinions about the royal family right now, and the wind on it is ridiculous, right? We've got David Icke saying they're all lizards. We got Trump saying, I think the Rothschilds are trying to crypt them, but I don't know. But all of this ridiculous information and stuff on one family, right? It's ridiculous. right? So I don't know the truth, right? All I know is some people I know have met King Charles. Craig's met him, his dad's met him, Todd, and who else has met him? David met him, David Parker met him, my ex. And so I met a few people that have met him and said he's a really nice guy, right? Now, I don't know what happened with Diana and all the rest of it. You know, they do make pretty girls to impact and try and get in that way. So, you know, sometimes, you know, you don't know who's good. You know, you don't know the truth about it. So until the truth can be spoken without judgment, but just said and left as that what happened, and let's get on and move away from it. Then we can be free of it and get on with having a good sovereign country that leads the way forward to be a prosperous country with the way it works and get our own gold standard and get our own currency sorted out and forget about the petrodollar and just forget it because I am not petrol and I'm not the dollar. So they can't use souls as a petro fuel anymore. So no soul is petrol, no soul is fuel. So that's gone out the window. So they will have to go back to bullion. They will have to go back to gold-backed, silver-backed currency. And that's how we used to live because people used to live off their gold savings and then they could retire properly and live off the worth of the gold because it always used to go up and never used to go down. And that's how it works. So you do that. And it makes sense to do that. And the Federal Reserve, well, now everyone knows it was run from the Crown in Blandford with Hall and Woodhouse. So that was just a joke. That was just Aladdin AI taking the piss. So, you know, you can rub that lamp so much, love, but nothing's going to come out. You're not going to get a genie from me. I'm my own genie. I'm not in a lamp for you. I'm in my own. And my light is not got any brass walls or any gold walls. And my light is pure to me, and that's my cloud. And you know it. And you got your own. So that's what I think about sovereign. I think it would be great if we could build it up again, you know, and embrace it because the sovereigns over the years since Louis VI and Marie Antoinette and all that sluttery happened, you know, since then it's just got really slutty and inbred with these temptress energies. Both sides, for the masculine and the feminine, have had temptresses affecting their family bloodlines and all sorts, right? And getting in the way of the future, of the prosperity of the bloodline, you know, and doing it intentionally to put walls in between people so that they don't get on and they always fighting and you never get further on with your way forward, right? So we've got a responsibility as a sovereigns, right? Because I'm a sovereign. I can feel I am, right? I've been told I am. So we got a responsibility to look at the truth and the wisdom of all this and to look at the evidence, if we can gather the evidence, which I've been trying to do with higher up the light of it. And I think I have shared a lot of evidence about this to higher ups and they've seen it all and the generational programming and generational abuse that's been happening and the way that we go round in these circles so we don't any longer, so we can avoid that and all of a sudden we'll start growing out of a false remembrance and growing into our own true remembrance with our true waters and that rain will come to us truly so we can feel bigger about ourselves as we grow to all the lifetimes we were with our awareness, but not become all the fractal of it, because that's irrelevant. That's rotted, rotted away. It's just the awareness. That's just light. So the sixth element. Well, there's lots of elements, right? They've got the first element. You got water, fire, air, water, fire, air, earth, right? Soil, right? Soil. Water, fire, air, soil. And then you've got another element, you've got embers. And then you've got feathers. And then you've got, what else you got? Well, you've got hair, fur and all that, cotton. You know, you've got fur, rubber. You know, you've got lots of elements that nature uses to put you all together, right? But they don't, they're not processed, okay? So lots of elements have a method for nature, right? That you can't see so much, right? So, say for example, rubber. Okay, rubber has a method for nature as to be a sticky, bendy kind of rubbery method, right? But that's a method. It isn't actually a matter, all right? It's not a shadow matter either, right? So it's not an elemental, fractal thing, rubber, for my soul, okay? You cannot make my method of being rubbery to become that, because that is where the false is, right? And you can't make my method of steal, like, which is stealing, which is slowing down, which is stopping, which is whoa. That is nothing to do with metal. It's nothing to do with stopping. Okay, so we don't do that, and you can't make a method fractal when you're working with methods to do something about the method that they don't understand about it because of the depth of the natural law. That's not my problem. Okay, so I don't accept any method to become fractal in my soul, which they call a shadow, but it's not a shadow, it's just soul. And my soul doesn't accept anything fractal from a method that I'm using, because otherwise my body would get in a right spin, because I'm doing so much and so many different lights of where I've been. I don't want to get into a web or stuck with any matter of the last few decades of me, because I don't want to stick to that. So I didn't create any matter out of my thoughts. So I stayed in my own matter on 3. And I didn't create any matter when I was in 4 and 5, because that's no matter to it. It's a thought process to get you out of the mind thoughts of going that way. So I got out of the mind thought of going that way, and I got to 6, and I jumped up to 12, and that was the end of it, right? I went through and out. And that's what I think is the best thing to do. So that's what I did. And I'm never going to go back in the clock again, because I don't believe in time anymore. I don't believe in it. I believe there's lots of calendars running at the moment. I believe there's lots of times running at the moment that we don't even know about. I believe there's lots of inhabited planets that we don't know about. I believe that there's lots and lots of shit we don't know about, because we've been isolated for so long, thousands of years. Maybe even since it started, we've been isolated for so long, we do not know, and we cannot claim to know what's on the other side, which is why I'm saying we either create something new from our new awareness about what our ancient remembrance is telling us, or we find what we lost and get back to it, if it's still there and hasn't been savaged by these monsters. So we've got to be careful with looking at things like that, because we could be meeting threats, to stop us from getting that. So, we need to be aware that we might have to fight to get it. We'll fight to get it, because they can't have it. We're getting it back. And there's no way that they can take the sovereign state of nature's source away from the sovereign, and they can't take it, they can't have it, and they can't tempt it off us, and they can't abuse us for it, they can't rape us for it, they can't have it as a fuel. We are not their fuel. We refuse to be a fuel for fake, false, artificial nonsense, and we are not a noise for that. Okay, so thank you.